quick thank you to our sponsors for making this podcast possible. They keep this show free to listen to.
Weight Watchers now offers access to affordable GLP-1s. It works for members like...
I'm Haley, and I've lost 100 pounds. Weight Watchers has everything I need, from weight loss medications to nutrition support and help with my side effects. It's all in one place.
Weight Watchers handles the insurance for you and offers affordable cash pay options. With our program, our members are losing more weight with expert nutrition and side effect support.
I'm Mike, and I've lost 135 pounds. Weight Watchers prescribing GLP-1 medications. It's been life-changing.
I'm Sharia, and I lost 80 pounds on Weight Watchers. I realized that it would take more than a prescription to lose weight and feel good on a GLP-1.
Better results, expert support, lose more weight, make it last.
I can't imagine doing a GLP-1 without Weight Watchers.
Get started for as low as $25 at WeightWatchers.com/GLP-1.
Medications require eligibility and prescription. Patients on 15 milligrams of trizepatide had an average of 21% weight loss in a 72-week clinical trial when paired with diet and exercise. First month as low as $25 with a 12-month Med Plus plan. Does not include the cost of GLP-1 medications.
Thanks for joining me on the Peace in Parenting podcast. I'm so glad you're here.
This presentation is called Empowering Children and Setting Boundaries, and teaching our kids really how to stand up for themselves. We know this is so important today, and I want to get you guys started on this journey. If you're here because you've been struggling with how to help your kids stand up for themselves while being kind to those who deserve it, you are in the exact right place, and it's a hard thing to balance. Today, we're talking about something every parent worries about: how to raise children who can set boundaries and stand up for themselves without using punishments, control, or fear. It's going to be action-packed. You're going to leave with tools that you can use, not just tools that you can use a month from now, but tools you can use today. Let's bust a myth right here. And I need you to really hear me on this one, because it's probably something you believe, and I know I did for a long time, and sometimes in my worst moments, I still believe it. Obedient children are safe children. If you were raised with this idea that if a child does what they're told, they'll stay out of trouble, that compliance actually equals safety. But here's the problem, and it's a big one. If we train our children to always comply with authority, we remove their ability to say no when someone unsafe gives them a directive. Think about it for a second. A child who is punished for talking back at home learns that expressing disagreement equals reprimand. That same child then can't speak up when a peer pressures them, when a coach crosses a line, or when an adult crosses a boundary. So on the left side of the slide, we have the parents that often think, if I teach my child to obey me, then they'll be safe everywhere. Kids who talk back are disrespectful. Good kids don't question adults. And on the right, the reality is kids who can't say no to a parent can't say no to a peer. Blind obedience makes children more vulnerable. True safety comes from an internal compass, not from an external fear. And research backs this up. Studies show that unassertive adolescents have higher social anxiety. They have low self-esteem and poor social performance. Our goal isn't compliance. It's organic cooperation rooted in connection. And that's a fundamentally different thing. Here's your first quick win for this week. The next time your child pushes back on something, pause before correcting them. Ask yourself, is this disrespect? Or is my child practicing using their voice? Because if they don't practice with us, they'll never learn how. So if obedience isn't the answer, what happens when we overcorrect toward compliance? What does it actually cost our kids? I want to walk you through 3 consequences I see in my coaching work. The first one is called diluted identity. Think about the child who never gets to choose. They're told what to wear, what to eat, what activities to do, how to speak, how to feel. By the time they're 12 years old, they don't even know what their preferences are. They become people pleasers who define their entire worth by other people's approval. How many of you were raised that way? How many of you became people pleasers as adults? Okay, you're not alone. There's so many of us that have become people pleasers. The second is higher vulnerability. And this one keeps me up at night. Kids who can't advocate for themselves are significantly more likely to be targets of bullying and predators. They freeze when they need to act. They don't have words. They don't have the practice, and they don't have the permission. How many of us find ourselves with kids who are like that? Do you have the kid who freezes and doesn't know what to do? And the third is lost relationships. And I see this all the time. The child who says yes to everything, gives their lunch away, lets their friends decide everything in the game, every activity, doesn't have a preference. They think that's what friendship is, and they end up attracting controlling peers because they don't know how to set limits. Okay, here's a quick win for you for tonight. Ask your child this one question. Write this down. What's something you wish you could say no to? Ask your child that. What's something you wish you could say no to? And then just listen. Don't fix it. Don't coach it. Don't excuse it. Don't explain it. Just listen and empathize. Oh, that's interesting. I understand. Wow, I'm sure glad you told me that. You can just leave it in space. You don't have to fix it, but listen to it. What's something you wish you could say no to? Now, let me show you why this matters on a bigger scale, because the numbers are staggering. And here's what they are. 34% of US teens ages 12 to 17 report being bullied in the last year. That's more than 1 in 3. This comes from the CDC. 1 in 5 students, 12 to 18, are bullied during the school year. That's from the National Center of Education Statistics. And 70% of young people say they've seen bullying in their schools. And these aren't numbers, these are our kids. This is what they're going through. The research is clear. Children who lack assertiveness skills are at significantly higher risk. But here's the good news, and I want you to hold on to this. Assertiveness training has been shown to reduce anxiety, boost self-esteem, and improve social performance in adolescence. We can equip our kids. We're not powerless here. In the Peace in Parenting community, we talk about this every single week, giving our kids a voice, allowing them to stand up for themselves. You don't have to figure this out alone. We do this every week on our support calls. All right, let's get into the good stuff, the 5 steps. I want to start with the foundation of everything we teach at Peace in Parenting. Think of it this way and write it down. Connection instead of, not before. A lot of people say connection before, but I say connection instead of correction. Here's the truth. Children can't learn to stand up for themselves in a world if they can't practice it at home first. Home has to be the safest testing ground. When we create safety in the parent-child relationship, and we do that without punishments and with connection, children develop the confidence to use their voice everywhere. But if your child can't say, I don't like that, to you without getting in trouble, they will not say it to the bully at school. So what does it look like practically? Here's the 4 things I want you to know. Let them disagree with you without punishment. I know that feels counterintuitive, but disagreement is not disrespect. It's just disagreement. This is one idea that can help you give empowerment to your kid. It's called the Empowerment Framework, and it has 4 pillars: feel, speak, act, reflect. Number 1, you feel. Before a child can set a boundary, they need to know what they're feeling. And often we haven't allowed kids to have their feelings, so they don't know what those feelings are. So you can give them the vocabulary. It's so important. I feel angry. It's the gateway to, that's not okay with me. If they can't name it, then they can't act on it. 2, this is where these scripts really help. Kids need the words, actual practice rehearsed words, and that's where you role play. Role play is your best friend. Being playful is how kids learn and how kids live. 3, act. Sometimes the boundary isn't verbal. It's walking away. It's finding a trusted adult. Teach your kid that leaving a bad situation is always an option. They can walk away if they feel uncomfortable. They have to listen to their intuition and their gut. And when it feels icky, they walk away. It's protection and it's brave. Number 4, after tough moments, process it together. Ask questions. What happened? How did it feel? What could we do next time? Let them build their internal compass. Let them start listening to themselves, their gut, their intuition. Because if they don't, they'll get in the real world and not know the discernment to decide, is this an icky situation or isn't it? In our Peace in Parenting community, we practice these kinds of things. We help parents unravel these kind of situations every week. Okay, pick one pillar to focus on. Not all of them, there's too many. Start maybe with feel, or start with the script. Start with one of them and really work on it this week with your child. A real story from our community, and I need you to really hear this one. A sweet mom came to us with a 9-year-old boy. She noticed her son was giving his lunch away every single day to a classmate who demanded it. Every day he'd come home hungry. When she finally asked him about it, he said something that broke her heart. He said, I didn't know I was allowed to say no. A 9-year-old didn't know he was allowed to say no. And it wasn't because he had terrible parents who didn't love him. It wasn't because they were doing something wrong on purpose. It was just that nobody had taught him to stand up for himself. He thought he was always supposed to share, always be nice to other people and be polite. And he had a very, understated and calm demeanor. And so that's just what he learned and how it manifested with his certain personality. We started teaching her how to let her son reflect on his feelings, how we let him say no and speak up for himself. She started working on the scripts. My mom packed this for me. I'm not sharing today. And they would role play it. She never said, you need to go to school and tell this boy that you can't, you're never going to share your lunch. They practiced, they role played, they talked about it over and over and over until he felt confident enough. And finally, after 2 weeks, her son used the script at school and the demanding stopped and the bullying stopped. And he came home and told his mom. He said, Mom, I did it. I said, no. This is why I do what I do. This is why Peace in Parenting exists. This mom didn't read a textbook. She learned a simple framework. She learned to do role playing. She practiced with her son and it changed his life. That's available to every single one of you. Now, before we go further, I need to give you a warning because I've been this parent and I see it all the time. Some parents hear everything we're talking about today and they get so excited and they try to teach everything today. Assertiveness, emotional intelligence, conflict resolution, negotiation, leadership, and all the things. And then they get overwhelmed. And then their child's overwhelmed. And then the parent burns out. And then nothing sticks. Here's what I'll say. You don't need a PhD in social skills. You don't need to know everything. You just need to start with one little step, one phrase, and helping your kid feel confident. Start with one boundary. And before moving on and adding more, focus on at home first, one thing, one school, one social situation, and then everything will come into place naturally. Practice low stakes moments like dinner table conversation or playing after school. And celebrate the attempt. Even if your kid tries and they don't succeed, it's okay. Celebrate them learning the thing. Maybe it takes them a while to apply it. If you change everything right now, it won't work. This is why coaching programs are so important. We don't overwhelm you. We give you one tool at a time and we walk beside you while you learn to use it. This is the Peace in Parenting difference. This is the thing that makes our approach work when all other methods fail. We're not removing limits. Let me be clear about that. Kids need limits. What we're changing is how we set them. We're not setting them like your grandfather did. We're setting them with connection, with empathy, with understanding. Look at the left column, control-based limit setting. Stop crying, or I'll give you something to cry about. How many people heard that? Go to your room until you can be nice. If you talk to me like that again, no screen time for a week. How many people have said that? You'll do what I say because I'm a parent. Now look at the right column, connection-based. I can see you're really upset. I'm here. I hear you're frustrated, and the rule in the house is no hitting. I understand you're mad at me. You can tell me why. We have a limit here, and I want to hear your feelings. Notice the magic word, and, not but. I hear you, and here's the limit. That word changes everything, but erases whatever came before it, and holds both things as true. When children feel heard, they're more likely to follow limits, but not because they're fearful, because the relationship matters, because they're endeared to us. Connection and cooperation run hand in hand. And here's the empowerment piece. When we model setting limits with empathy, our children learn to do the same thing. So if you're setting the beautiful limits with your child, they can turn around and do it with their friends or with an adult. Standing up for yourself doesn't mean being mean. Okay, remember this thing. Discipline actually means to teach, not to punish. We're teachers, not wardens. This week, replace but with and. I know you want to stay up, and bedtime is 8:30. Try it and see what happens. Step 5, and this is where the magic happens. If you take nothing else from today's training, take this role play is the #1 tool for building assertiveness in children. I know what you're thinking. My kid won't do it. It sounds weird. I hear you, but here's the thing. Make it fun. Make it silly. Use connection. Make it dramatic. Role play with your kid. The more practice they can get in these low stakes, fun, connected moments, the more confident they'll be in the high stakes ones. Let me give you 3 scenarios you can try tonight. For your little ones, 7 to 10, play the playground push. You say, pretend I'm a kid who just pushed you off the swing. What do you say? And your child practices, it's not okay. I was here first. You can use stuffed animals. You can pretend to be the kid. You can pretend to be your son or your daughter. Make it playful. Have fun with it. Ages 7 to 10, do the lunch table pressure. Pretend I'm a friend who says, give me your cookie or I won't be your friend. What do? Your child practices, you can be my friend and I'm keeping my cookie. See the and here? They're learning from us. And for your tweens and teens, ages 11 to 15 or even beyond that, you do the group chat dare. Your friends text you to do something you're not comfortable with. What do you say? No thanks, I'm good. And then you put the phone down. You have an extra exit strategy. You're done. I role play with my daughters all the time. I used to do it more when they were younger. They're a lot older now. But role play was one of our most favorite ways to process situations that were happening in our house. Tonight before bed, try one role play scenario. Maybe it's something your kid's struggling with. Maybe it's one of these pretend ones. Find something that you can connect with them about and do one role play scenario. Just make it short, just a few minutes. Have fun with it, but give them the words they can use so that they can set the limits that they need to. Okay, all right. I want to make sure you have everything you need to keep this going after today. So first, my book, Unpunished, it walks you through exactly how to replace punishments with connection and trust. It's full of stories about myself. It's full of stories about my clients, and you can find it at unpunishedbook.com. Second, the Peace in Parenting podcast. I have over 500 episodes that are helpful for this particular subject matter, but there's an episode on almost anything you can find in there. And third, and this is the really big one, the Peace and Parenting community. This is where the real transformation happens. Weekly live calls with me and our coaching team, real-time feedback on your specific situation, and a village of parents who get it. We also offer one-on-one coaching and 90-day programs if you want personalized support just for you on your timeline. And before we wrap up, let me give you your action plan. 5 things you can do this week before you panic. And you don't have to do all 5, just pick one, please. Don't try to do all of them. When your child pushes back, you pause 5 seconds. Then try, tell me more. Number 2, pick a boundary phrase for your child's age group. Practice it 3 times. Number 3, replace but with and in your limit setting this week, and then listen to the feelings. Number 4, at dinner, ask your child, what's something you wish you could say no to? And just listen, don't fix it. And number 5, when your child says, I don't want to, ask yourself, is it disrespect? Or is it self-advocacy? Let me leave you with this idea. And this is an important one. And I think this is kind of the basic understanding of peace in parenting. Children who feel safe to use their voice at home will use their voice in the real world. But if they don't feel safe at home, then there's no way they're going to go out in the real world and try it, because it's really hard to go say that to another adult. It's really hard to say it to another child. So if you haven't practiced again and again and again and again at home, then you won't have that basis to take out into the real world. And it doesn't mean that we're being disrespectful, and it doesn't mean our kids are being disrespectful. And I even hear it sometimes where we're so worried about the other child, or we're so worried about the other parent, that we disregard our own selves, or we disregard our own child. We need our home to be the safe place for them to practice. We have to give them the words and give them the permission without punishment, without chastising them. Okay, if something today resonated, if you felt even a small shift, I'd love to invite you into our Peace and Parenting community. That's where the real transformation happens, not just learning tools, but learning how to implement the tools with support in real time. Inside the community, you have weekly live support calls with me and my coaches. You have access to the coaches in our school, and you have a space full of parents who are doing this work on the ground every single day. If you feel like you need more personalized support, we also offer one-on-one coaching with myself, with my coaches. Comment the word support, and I am happy to set up a call with myself or with one of my team members. We can talk about all the options and see what fits your family.
Thank you for joining me on the Peace in Parenting podcast. I'll see you next time. Hey there, Peace in Parenting family. If you love the podcast but wish to enjoy it without interruptions, your wish has come true. Introducing the ad-free version of the Peace in Parenting podcast, available exclusively on Apple Podcast. As a subscriber, you'll get all the heartfelt advice, parenting stories, and actionable tips you love without any ads. For less than the cost of a coffee each month, you will enjoy uninterrupted listening while also supporting our work to help you build stronger connections with your kids. Try it out for free. Simply find Peace in Parenting on Apple Podcasts, click Try Free, and you'll gain immediate access to our ad-free episodes. There's no commitment and you can cancel anytime. So if you're ready for a more peaceful, uninterrupted listening experience, subscribe now. Let's keep focusing on connection without the distractions.